I apologize for the lackluster hair and makeup, but I couldn't just get all dolled up and pretty to talk about something so terrible. And I'm filming this in the hallway because I couldn't set up my camera to film in my bedroom just to tell you that it might not be mine anymore. I've been avoiding filming this video because I hate that we're here again. I want to say that I can't believe that we're here again, but that isn't true. 2 years ago, I filmed a video on my channel announcing that my family was about to be homeless. We weren't evicted. In fact, we'd had months of prior notice, but despite countless applications and attempts to try and get in somewhere, no one would take a chance on us as renters. Part of the problem was something that should have helped make getting into a house easier for us, our Section 8 housing voucher. But in our city, Tacoma, a sister city of Seattle, which is becoming a technopolis, no one was eager then to take on low-income fixed-rate renters when wealthy transplants would be willing to pay so much more. From October 2016 to January 2017, my family lived in various Walmart parking lots, motel rooms, and in a camper on the back of our car. When we finally found a landlord that was willing to rent to us, my mom was thrilled. She was immediately soothed of all her anxieties, but mine weren't as easily quelled. I still had nightmares about going to sleep and waking up outside. I would have waking daydreams about someone coming and telling us that it was a mistake and that we had to leave. And even when I bought things to make my room more my own, like curtains or decorations, I would beat myself up for the expense because I never really felt like 6 months from whenever I would still be there. I always felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so I guess I wasn't surprised when in April I bought bookshelves and installed them in my room for the first time, and I thought, this is it. I'm starting to finally feel like this is my home. And then the very next day, our landlord came and told my mom that he was planning on selling the house by the end of the year. It's not that he wants us gone, it's just that he can't afford the increasing rules and regulations of Section 8 housing. The example I keep giving when I explain this to people is, imagine a door that has cosmetic damage on it. Something that doesn't affect usability in any sort of way, but like this. This was here when we moved in and it passed inspection then, but according to new rules, any house that has damages like this that don't affect the door at all would have to be replaced. Every door in every house that he owns that rents to Section 8 housing. That's every year. That's just not sustainable. They'd actually save money selling the house than continuing to rent it. So that's what they're doing. Our landlord doesn't want to see us on the streets again. He's aware that the housing market is even worse than it was when he first rented to us. An article recently came out that said Tacoma is the hottest housing market in the entire country, but not for the native locals who rent here. Wealthy people moving to Seattle for jobs are buying homes in Tacoma instead because it's more affordable. I was afraid of this ever since we moved in because I've seen house after house in this neighborhood list and sell in under a month. I sort of knew it was only a matter of time. They built a $30 million community center across the street from us. It's a 2-minute walk, and the city comes and fixes our potholes, and cops just patrol casually, not even in a threatening way, but in a branded SUV that sits on the corner just in case anybody needs them. Once the city bus got into an accident and one of these casual cops came to fill out the report, and when he heard that the accident was going to cause me to miss my dentist appointment, he offered to drive me there, even though it was 10 miles away. He made small talk and joked with me, and he complimented my passion for storytelling, and he dropped me off at the bookstore because we arrived early. And afterwards, I couldn't stop shaking for half an hour because the cop had never treated me so kindly before, even when I called them as a victim in my old neighborhood. So I always sort of figured that my days here were numbered because I've never been allowed such relative safety and security. In my head, I felt like I was in somebody else's story. I felt like a background character or something to be sacrificed. because I'd never known stability, so I didn't trust it, and it turns out that I was right. Our landlord wants to work with us to buy our home, but he doesn't have forever, and there's only so much that can be done. Since we heard about this problem in April, my mom and I have been working on our credit to improve our chances of getting a loan. We still have a lot of debt from the last time that we were homeless, so I made a GoFundMe to help with that. I should have made a video explaining all this to you then, but even then it'd been so long since I'd sat in front of a camera and talked to you. I really wasn't surprised when we got the housing ultimatum because it feels like the past 2 years have been treading water. I felt and still feel ashamed and embarrassed that after asking you for help last time, I'm still struggling so hard to stay afloat. I felt like I should have somehow been able to overcome the extreme poverty that I've lived in my entire life because you literally invested in me as a person. And I felt like I was letting you down because I couldn't fix everything. You wanted to see me do well, and I felt like I wasn't living up to what you deserved. And I didn't know how to explain it without coming across ungrateful or looking like a failure. I fight daily with the fear of coming across as entitled or manipulative or exploitive for sharing my struggles online and asking for help. But I don't want things to get worse either. I didn't and don't know how to explain how hard things are without sounding ungrateful or like I'm incapable of improving or moving past setbacks. This shame at not living up to the picture-perfect life that we wanted for me, along with other things, led to the complete breakdown of my self-worth as a person and a writer this past year. I've been struggling really hard with not becoming a jaded or bitter person. I've said before that I try to live my life inspired by the motto, a life inspired by fiction, and that I believe that anyone can achieve their happy ending and that obstacles are just part of your character journey. But it's really hard to reconcile that with my reality right now. We went to a mortgage advisor at our credit union last week, and even though mortgage rates are really good right now, my mom's credit to income ratio is just not good enough, even though she's a veteran. And even if my credit was stellar, I have yet to sell a book this year, mainly because I've been unable to finish one because I've been prioritizing our house. So I have no steady income to improve my family's chances. Unless we can come up with the full offer amount, about $230,000, or a substantial amount to use as down payment or collateral within the next 45 days, we have to prepare to be homeless again. I desperately want to stay here. I feel safe in this community, and I can travel safely, and I can go to school, and I know that we'll never find another neighborhood as good as this one, and we're never ever going to find a landlord as kind again, if we can even find one. I don't have any faith in the rental market this time. Pretty much everyone I know who used to rent has either bought a home or moved out of the area, but that's not really feasible for us because our housing voucher is local, our friends are here, our jobs are here. I'm on the state health plan. If I move to a state with a lower cost of living, it's likely that their state insurance plan would not be to the same level, and I am unable to work, let alone function, without quarterly migraine shots, yearly MRIs, and a variety of other treatments for my chronic illness. I almost died in the years that I didn't have insurance before the Affordable Care Act, and I'm certain I actually might if I lose health care again. Staying in Washington is the best thing for my health. Not to mention that an out-of-state move would be extremely expensive. Another solution would be to split up to send my fresh out of high school baby brother to attempt college classes with moving in with his equally as young girlfriend. No savings, no job. To have my other brother working full-time but with a cognitive developmental delay learn financial responsibility on the school of hard knocks with no support system or anywhere to go if he makes a mistake. To have my aging mother, disabled and in her 60s, working herself to death trying to keep herself afloat. alone without anyone to help her if she gets injured or ill. She tried taking a part-time job last winter and she ended up in the hospital because she was overtaxing her heart. Even if I personally can make it on my own, the idea of splitting up my family is worse than the idea of sleeping in the cold again. I'd rather us stay together than watch everyone enter a survival of the fittest. The only way I got through this last time was through the love and support of my family. I don't want to lose them, and I don't want to lose my dogs. The last time we had to board our big dog for several months in a doggy daycare, and she still has separation anxiety from that. She thought we'd abandoned her. They finally have a yard of their own to play in, and the neighborhood is full of dogs, so nobody cares if they bark. I just want to stay here. I just want to make a life and never feel so scared again. Every day I wake up and I think, what can I do to save us? I can't read, I can't write, I can't focus on anything but how heavy my heart is and how terrified I am every day. I don't have an essay on how poverty has suppressed my opportunity and career growth this time. I don't have the energy to explain or show the statistics of how heartbreakingly common our crisis is. I barely have any faith left at all. It's so childish, but I'm jealous of people who can make plans and joke around. I just want to chat with my friends about Taylor Swift or books I'm excited to read. I want my biggest problem to be a plot hole in my manuscript or a really difficult piece of homework. I want to be able to buy a sandwich without feeling overwhelming guilt about spending money on myself. I just want a life full of problems that aren't really problems at all. I would be so excited to have tiny frustrations like that. Little things that don't take over my entire life. I'd be so grateful for the stability of those kinds of problems. I'm trying really hard to have faith and be hopeful. My mom is sort of a hippie type. She was a teenager in the 70s and she's all about positive energy and trusting the universe will work things out. But even she is becoming overwhelmed with the weight of all this. She's dreading the idea of packing up and moving and trying in vain to find someplace new, especially during the holiday months. We spent the fall and winter of 2016 through the election, Thanksgiving, and Christmas living in various different motel rooms and a 40-year-old trunk bed camper. I'm trying to believe there is a hopeful and good way forward, even though I feel like we're living in a Groundhog Day of housing instability. It takes everything I have to come here and ask for help. I just don't want to be homeless again. I just want to feel at home for the first time permanently. I want to keep my family together. If you can help in any way, my GoFundMe link is in the description. It's okay if you don't have anything to spare. Just sharing the link helps more than you'll ever know. Thank you so much for listening. I'm truly sorry I couldn't return to this channel with happier news. I truly pray that my next video is more positive because I do not know how much more of this I can take. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Bye.